So we're going to get into some Atlanta-based news right now. Atlanta has been the epicenter of some of the protests because of the killing of Rashard Brooks, as well as the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. And Kemp, for his part, has consistently tried to ignore the coronavirus issue. And the reason I'm talking about coronavirus as well as the violence here and the protests, all these things really are interconnected. And I don't think Kemp sees that, and I don't think a lot of people across the country are seeing that. Let's go back in time a little bit to Kemp's stance on masks. Can't really hear this guy's question, but
Well, look, the whole mask issue right now, in my opinion, is being over politicized, and that's not what we should be doing. But it's not the only issue during pandemic politics that's been overly politicized. But I'll be honest with you, Dr. Toomey and I, and our whole team, people like Dr. Arona that's on the front lines in Gwinnett, the people at the testing site.
so back on July 1st, our governor was saying that he does not want to play pandemic politics, which is a really amazing statement for this man to make, considering he has really just completely ignored the CDC guidelines. We were one of the first states to reopen. We are now surging in cases. More than 3,000 dead here in Georgia because Brian Kemp didn't want to politicize the issue. But he gladly did. And people are dead because of it. It's negligent. It's criminally negligent. The man is beyond incompetent. The man is cruel. The man is corrupt. He should not have this position. It's hard not to be upset to hear his stance and to see now that we have reached this point. 3,000 dead. A couple days ago, we hit a new spike around 4,200 cases. There's no evidence that this will be going back down anytime soon. Right now, schools don't really know what they're doing here. It's kind of all over the place. 3,000 deaths. The man didn't want to politicize wearing masks. Now, what's even more upsetting is now here in Atlanta, Mayor Bottoms has enacted a mask mandate, and Kemp's first reaction to that was to say, well, we can't actually enforce that. It's not enforceable. And that's part of why, I want to talk about Kemp because in his little spat with Atlanta right now, because it's getting people killed. Not just from coronavirus, but from violence in the streets. We saw an uptick in shootings here over the past week, especially over the July 4th weekend. A little 8-year-old girl was killed, Sequoia Turner. She was killed by gunmen near University and Pryor Avenue, where the Wendy's was, that was burnt down during the protests. Multiple people, something like 14 people were shot near Edgewood, I want to say, on July 4th. The AJC has reported on this heavily. I actually do have a headline here. 5 dead, more than 2 dozen injured in Atlanta holiday weekend shootings. Really terrible, tragic. The governor's response to this was to declare a state of emergency and to deploy the National Guard. Let's look into this.
The National Guard has been deployed after Governor Brian Kemp declares a state of emergency following this weekend's deadly shootings. The guards were brought in last night to safeguard the city, state buildings, and prevent another spike of gun violence.
Now, we need to clarify what she says here. Safeguard the city, that is not what they were here to do. They were assigned to safeguard the Capitol building, the Georgia State Patrol building that had been vandalized over the 4th of July weekend, and the Capitol, where Confederate statues are and where protests have been happening. So in response to violence in our streets, the governor deployed the National Guard to protect state property, including his own mansion. It's important to understand that the violence that's happening right now in Atlanta does not exist in a vacuum. And it certainly does not exist because of a blue flu. We do know police officers have been calling out, but the idea that, we've had 4 officers across the entire city, shit like that, has been proven false. Right now, what we are seeing is restlessness, hopelessness, unemployment in Georgia right now. I had those numbers. I apologize. Let me pull those up really quickly. Let's see what we can find on that. Here we go. All right, this is from a week ago. Georgia jobless claims still surging, some workers still waiting. Officials processed 117,885 new claims in the week ended. New claims in the week ended June 27th. That doesn't feel grammatically correct. About 655,000 Georgians are now receiving unemployment benefits. So 1 of every 8 people in our current labor force are on unemployment right now. So let's factor that in. Let's also factor in the fact that we have a disease that is spreading rapidly, and people do not have faith here that the officials are going to take care of it, whether they're at the federal or the state level. People are restless, as I said earlier, because things are closed down as they should be. But, there's a lot of nervous energy in the air. People also do not have any faith in the police right now here in Atlanta. There's a lot of anger surrounding that institution. So when you combine these things together, we are in a perfect storm to have more violence here in Atlanta, to have more shootings like this. And Kemp deploying the National Guard is honestly probably going to make things worse. More police are not going to solve this issue. This is a structural issue. This is a societal issue. If you think things are bad here in Atlanta now, wait until people can't eat. Wait until people don't have money for food. Wait until the eviction crisis hits. Kemp has to get ahead of this thing. Bottoms has to as well, but she can't do quite as much as Kemp can. And in some ways, it feels like a concentrated effort to wipe out what Kemp probably sees as a liberal Democratic stronghold in Atlanta. So, like I've been saying, we're on our own here in Atlanta. This is a time where, as communities, we really need to come together to take care of each other, because we can't expect the police to do it. We can't expect the police to stop the violence. It's not going to work that way. People need security. People need to know they're going to be safe, they're going to be fed, that they're going to be housed, that they have opportunities. And until that happens, we're just going to be stuck in this cycle.